Alright, today I'm going to work on the rear suspension of Cale Yarborough's car. I got the roll cage all complete, ready to paint. There's the front part of it, ready to paint. All that ready to go. Obviously I'll need to paint the chassis, but before I do that, I want to kind of mock up the rear end and just kind of give you how I put it together. So the first thing I'm going to do is take the truck arm setup here, and the kit comes with spacers. I do 2 on each side for the Oldsmobile. I've not built the Monte Carlo yet, so I really don't know how many to put on there. I will eventually get to that. I just haven't done it yet. So I start with putting on the lowering blocks. Let's do one at a time on each side, kind of let it dry, and then put the second one on, and then put the axle in. So just so it all sets up real good. And they're small pieces. I like to cooperate sometimes. All right, I'll let that dry. While I'm doing that, I get the axle put together. Goes in 2 pieces. There's no pins or anything on this rear axle, so it can be a little bit tough. I've already cleaned all these parts up, sanded the mating surfaces, and test fitted, so everything should be in good shape. What I'll do is just use standard clothespins again to keep everything together, and really want to try to keep it all lined up. I know it's tough, but just don't want to sit right sometimes, because like the one side of the axle is bowed a little bit. So, and we just put that down like that, and one on the other side, and hopefully it stays where it's supposed to. All right, I'll let that dry, and it's gonna be a little bit off, but I think, I guess we'll fix it. Try to tweak it over just a tad. That's too much. Ooh, that's way too much. All right, start over. It's not like Bob Ross where there's happy accidents. Usually the accidents kind of suck. So all right, let's line up better. The main part is to keep it lined up right to where the axle will go through. If it's off center, that won't be good either. So, gonna let that dry for a minute. Something I wanted to tell you about. So the springs for this, for the truck arm setup, they're both the same part number in the tree, I think 113, but there's a right and a left. And I found this out on when I was building Donnie Allison's kit. The skinny part goes towards the middle, and the fatter part is going on the outside. So, and there's a slope in there. It's gonna sit like right in here, like that. So, but that's how they go. That's where they set up at. So, once I got the axle in, and I'll put the springs on, and I'll try to maneuver it to where it goes up here, to where the springs are glued onto the rear end housing and suspension and not glued to the chassis. But when I go to do it, it'll drop right in. So just a little tip there. I'm gonna go ahead and do the second axle spacer. Just make sure it's all lined up and on there good. So, all right. So, while this is setting up, go ahead and put the front and the rear of the differential on. Let's see which way that goes. So I'm checking for reference because it obviously matters which way it goes on. Did I miss it? There it is. Okay, so I had it on there right. It's going to sit like this because the brackets are there. That's where they go onto the spacers, and it sits lower. And then the cover is going to be the same way. That is a drain plug that's on the back of that, or at least that's what I take it for. So it'll go towards the bottom as well. All right, I'll let that dry. The only other part that we're going to be dealing with is this, which it will hook. So this will be like this. It will hook here, and then it sits on this frame rail somewhere in there. I don't remember how I did it last time, so I think I waited until after I installed the rear end, and then I put this on afterwards. So I'll probably be doing the same thing here. Let's see if this is dry enough. Probably so. So what I think I'm going to do, before I glue the rear end on, I'm going to go ahead and tape this housing down and get the springs installed. So I'm just going to make sure that it's where it's supposed to be. Don't lose your springs. Knock them out of there. Let's see. All right, and that's basically just helping it where it's gonna glue into place. So this will go on this side. And like I said, we're just gluing the top part. We're not gluing it to the frame. We'll do that after everything's painted. Just kind of fish it in here. Get the other one fished in here. All right. All right, we'll let that kind of sit in there. Just put some weight on it. So, once this dries and I pull it off of there, then I'm going to paint or airbrush the roll cage and the chassis firewall front bars there. I'll probably just brush paint the axle and the suspension stuff for the front as well, because that's not going to be too bad. But what I'm going to use is some paint I had mixed up at O'Reilly's. I was trying to get poppy red for Dale Earnhardt's chassis of his Gooder Inch cars, and I told them poppy red from 65 Mustang, and this is what they sent me. And that's not poppy red. So I think it'll look good for Cale's car. I'll probably use it for Rusty's Aluguard car. I don't know what the actual color it is, but it's not poppy red. This is poppy red. So that's what I want to use for Dale Earnhardt's car. So, anyways, I guess all I'm going to do today, like I said, next time, do some airbrushing for you. Hopefully it'll turn out good on camera. I've not airbrushed on camera before, so we'll see how it goes. Everybody have a good evening.